Oh man, getting a workout in. Oh no, what's going on? What's going on?
Well, this weekend we spring forward. I'm trying to see which way is the most efficient to spring forward.
Yeah, well, at your age, let's be careful there.
Yeah.
Let's pull anything. Let's not pull anything.
Yes.
I don't think you can get workman's comp for a podcast show. Gotta be careful. Yeah, so it is. We'll be getting ready to spring forward. I know growing up, I was always still struggling with okay, you spring forward. So I always thought you should gain an hour, you lose an hour, and that stuff. It's always a conversation about which one does it, does it make sense? Doesn't it make sense? Like, what's the whole deal? Yeah. And I'm even looking, what's the name of it? So which equinox is it considered? That's the question.
Spring.
Leave. Spring. That's a version, yeah. Because I know there's one is this is the vernal equinox. I tell my students it's the vernal equinox, and I claim credit to it every year. So I always try to commit.
We lose an hour of sleep because of you. Thank you. Ooh, I think he froze. He's caught in the vernal equinox. Right now he's in between time zones. So
it's always something. I just switched to my better Wi-Fi. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I said you were caught up in the vernal equinox.
That's it. Yeah, I just went total. Yeah, that would have been a total eclipse, I guess. Maybe totally hiding in that scenario. But yeah, so how are things going, man? It's I guess we're getting near. I mean, what trade deadlines kind of hitting the NFL? We can talk a little NFL. We can talk a little Olympics. We weren't able to. I feel like we've just chatted last
trade
week.
Deadlines. NHL trade lines this week. Pens are on a tear. They have a game tonight. No game tonight. Well, maybe it is. I'm trying to think. It's an away game tonight. If they have a game tonight, because I know there's a concert in their arena tonight. 3 Days Grace, and some people going to that show, and so it might be an away game. But the Pens are winning, even with Sidney Crosby out. We're second place in our division. So we're hanging tough. The Steelers, there's all kinds of talk about football. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's a interesting time. I've not really caught too much. I know some big players were cut from the Dolphins, and they got a cap space issue, so they're trying to make as much room as possible. And I'm not, Bradley Chubb was of the veteran of the people being cut. He's the one I like the most, but yeah, you got to do what you got to do. It's interesting. And I did read a piece today that, we are Penn State. Drew Allars impressed people in the combine. Stuff going on there. So going into the rookies and stuff and get ready to go into the draft. So it'll be interesting and see how that works out.
He was a projected first-round pick from everything I read until he got hurt and their season went downhill. But they said he's one of the better arms.
Yeah. He could sling it, and he showed that he could. It's just, getting everything built up all around him, and it'll be interesting. But yeah. Now we got a whole bunch of people kind of cranking on YouTube, it looks like, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm not sure if they're real people or random bots, or hopefully they're real people. We'll count them as real viewers.
Real eyeballs. We'll count it.
Yes.
But yeah, so it's interesting time. So of course we're getting ready for spring forward as far as the timing goes, and yet Mother Nature hit a little freezing rain, a little 2-hour delays sparked all around here. How about you guys in Pittsburgh?
There was a meme on social media of teachers sliding down the road in sheer panic. Teachers on 2-hour delays, and then guy standing there looking down, and his driveway's just wet. Like, why is everyone on a delay? That was us. We had freezing rain, and it cleared out before school started. But right past us, and a little bit north, a little bit east, they had a lot of delays. We were not in that group.
Gotcha. Our area.
Oh, go ahead.
No. Yeah, go ahead.
Last week it was the shovel 2 or 3 times a week and not have a delay, just enough to shovel, clean off the vehicles, and hope for the best, because the roads were covered, but not enough for a delay or a FID day or anything like that. And it's just like,
Yeah. Well, around here, the problem was that freezing rain was hitting right around when the buses would have been transporting the kids. I mean, I was out trying to scrape the cars for my daughters and stuff and my wife, and it was solid. And then it started pelting down while I was out there. So the 2 hour kind of hit, but so we got a good friend of ours from way back, Heiser, Selinsgrove, where he teaches. They threw the 3 hour delay. And I was like, we have one of those. And it's like a unicorn. It exists.
Yeah.
But it's never been in the wild. But it's sitting in there. And I was like, that would have been the perfect time for the superintendent to be like, whip this out. Be like, hey, I got a 3 hour. Now that would create a lot of chaos during the school day. It would make it really tough, because right now, in our building, a 4, 5, 6 building, the kids come in and within a half hour, 4th grade's eating lunch after showing up to school. Some of those kids woke up late, ate breakfast before going. So, 3 hour would make it. But I don't think there was too much going on. I think we just having that 2 hour was enough. But there was a lot of accidents in the area, and I know we've talked about this website before in this app, 511pa.com.
Oh yeah.
And when I was scouting that out, there was around that 8:30 time frame, there was a lot of accidents around York County area. And then it cleared up. So Pittsburgh or Philadelphia area. Got the virtual Sheila there. Yeah.
I was hoping for a FID day somewhere in there, but no such luck.
Yeah. Once I got in and got rolling, then it was good. But yeah, you get those feelings. I'm like looking at my fireplace. I'm like, I could have a good day by the fire.
Yeah.
But and we got, the weather's just kind of yucky cold right now. And, but this weekend it was almost 70 degrees, and it's going to bounce back up for next weekend too.
Great. We had gray and rain, missed the blood moon. That's when I was getting ready to leave. And I walked outside, looked, and it was just rain and clouds. But question for you. So your building's 4, 5, 6. No 6, 7.
No 7. Nope.
7, 8, 9. That's in the other building.
Yep. They keep 7 away from everybody else. It's a little grumpy. Yep. Yeah, no, we had many years ago. So when I first started teaching, I taught in the middle school, and 6th, 7th, 8th grade was in the middle school. And then we outgrew it. We had classrooms in the closet area and stuff. So they built a new building. We were pushing for a 5, 6 building, but other people in their votes counted. So we have a 4, 5, 6 building. And then the middle school still is just 7, 8. And then they had the 9th grade up at the high school. It's kind of like in a in-between area with a lot of the classes. But yeah, it's kind of the way it's laid out. But, gosh, I remember, when I was a kid growing up, we had like the K3, and I started going to a middle school. And then we switched over how did it work? I was in a junior high and then switched to a middle school. So I went from low run on the pole to then being, just started in 7th grade in the building. And then they switched it. And then 8th grade was the top dog. So we went from the lowest rung to the top dogs, and, and then just spent 2 years there and then out. And I just remember that was always the joke about our class. And if there was any issues we had, it was because of that deal where we truly didn't get that. We didn't get that middle child in between experience. We just jumped from one to the other and then went. So, but yeah, and all schools in Pennsylvania have gone through different transitions. But yeah.
We were supposed to have, we had neighborhood elementary schools, kindergarten through 5th. Then we had 2 middle schools, 5, 6, 7, 8. One on the north end, one on the south end. I was on the south end of the borough. So 9th grade, everyone was supposed to come together. We had our own building. And then it was senior high school, 10, 11, 12. And the year we were supposed to go into 9th grade, they condemned the building. And they split the middle schools. 6, 7 were in one, 6, 7. And then 8, 9 was in the other. And we were all salty. We were so upset because we had to share a building with the 8th graders, and we were supposed to have our own building. And it was just like, But that's the first time we met a lot of the kids, because we would play in ball leagues and stuff against each other. But we didn't. In 8th grade, there was a strike that year, so we didn't play football against the other end of the borough. And they didn't have a football season that year. So it was like 9th grade. officially met in school a bunch of people. So that was interesting. But now I teach in a district where 3 buildings. So I went from numerous buildings to, we had a campus style high school that had, I think, 8 to 10 buildings. Now there's just 3 in our entire district where I teach.
Yeah. Well, and it's easy to tell by the beginning of this podcast that you teach high school because you're not totally annoyed by the 6-7 meme. So you're rocking it still. So yeah.
I told you. I wear it as a badge that my 9th period wanted a banned word list. I'm like, well, who's getting banned? They're like, you. We don't want you saying. So I was taking all their cool phrases and beating them into the ground.
That's a good technique.
Yeah, and I just they stopped.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, let's see. So we are in crazy weather time. It's life in Pennsylvania, and you never know what you're gonna get. And I know it's kind of crazy because like tomorrow is like we get to wear our one building shirt because it's the first Wednesday of the month.
Oh,
so that means today would be the
first Tuesday of the month.
And I guess instead of just the fact that you and I happen to come online to chat, I guess we kind of have to do some work and it might be time for
the PAECT Pod.
Let's roll it. Welcome to the PAECT Pod, a show for educators by educators. PAECT is a 100% volunteer-run organization in the state of Pennsylvania and
beyond.
Ooh, stuttered on that one. All right, so we are rocking in our 98th episode, and it would be a little spring forward. PAECT Pod, episode 98, man. How crazy. My name is Eric Verno, and I am the past president of PAECT. And with me, as always, I have my co-host,
Dominic Salvucci. I am president of PAECT.
All right, current president of PAECT. And in just a couple days here, you get to fully flex the presidency and rock out in a new venue as far as head of the table and running your first in-person meeting. So going to be an exciting time.
Yeah, that is going to be nerve-wracking. It's going to be exciting. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
And then I got to make sure I don't, that whole leap forward. I didn't pull something and not be able to make the meeting, have to like work from home. That would be bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That definitely wouldn't look good limping into your first meeting. Yeah.
Hey, wouldn't be the first time I drove long distance sitting on an ice pack because I pulled a hamstring.
That's true. The stories we could tell for sure. The stories
yes.
we could tell. No, definitely. So yeah, so a lot of good stuff. So spring forward, there's a lot going on around the state. We're just March is such a unique time. Some schools have their breaks. Some already had them. All the different scenarios, and really, it's just a big time to really work on keeping kids' attention for sure. I believe you are right, JG. 100%.
Charlie doesn't have an E in her name, just an I.
It's Team Charlie or Team Dom. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't want to get in that because I will lose. I know my limitations. A man must know his limitations.
Stay in your lane.
I know mine.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. So it's crazy to think we've been doing this 98 episodes. And I'm pretty sure we lost count a couple of times. So we might be a little bit more, but that's the number we're solidifying. A lot of good stuff going. And
3 in a row because we had a regular episode. Then we had a special shout out to Toddle, our sponsor spotlight. And then we're back to the regular show.
Yeah. Yeah. So live pod at Pete and then post Pete and then, rocking it. That's why
4 actually.
I'm not going to lie. Driving home yesterday from school, I had this like feeling of like, oh my gosh, I double booked myself. I have a meeting and the pod tonight. And my brain just would not comprehend. And then I'm like, oh, wait. I was like, then I'm like, okay, no, I got the pod. Okay. I got it all figured out, but still it feels like it was just yesterday you were on this screen and we were chatting together and chatting up the Toddle app. Yeah. And supposedly they had an amazing turnout. They had their Toddle event in Hershey on Monday. And Yeah, yesterday, and it was a lot of people, a lot of great stuff, and our very own Missy Halcott was moderating. She was leading a panel. I heard it was great discussion, great things going on. So always very exciting, and so excited to have them as a partner for sure.
Yeah, I saw some images on social media about it. Didn't get any other feedback, but I'm looking forward to finding out about it this weekend, getting some updates on it. So,
yep, exciting stuff for sure, most definitely. Yeah, a lot of really good stuff. So, yeah, so we have, again, we got football, we got all sorts of stuff kind of coming with that, and a lot of things going on. So we're going to be talking about some things that we're looking at doing, things that we're looking at keeping the excitement in our classrooms, things of that nature. So, do you have anything specific that you wanted to kick off sharing here? We're going to be doing, what do we got? Do you have a tech note or a tech news? Where are we at?
I have both.
Ooh, it's got both. Which one do you want to hit first?
Let me do the tech tool.
All right,
so let me
here we go.
This up
real quick. Yep.
Kick it.
If you notice, I rocked a little Google app with an iPhone, just so you know. That was a techno with an iPhone. Give it to you.
So within Canva,
yeah,
they have, if you go in from your home screen, and we have all kinds of stuff here. Across the top, what will you design today? Your designs, templates, Canva AI. You at Canva AI, you have your choice. AI will work with you, and this is all free for educators. Designs, images, docs, code, video clips. So if you click into code, see what you can do with Canva code. At Tretzi, this was the Canva rep that was at Tretzi, Three Rivers Educational Technology Conference, talked about this. Their session was jam-packed, so I backed out of the session, talked with them at the table because we had a PAECT table at Tretzi. And then I know talking with people at Pete and C and such, these are things you can do with it. You can make interactive flashcard games, interactive historical timelines, different activities, vocab matching games, uploading the information. I haven't played with it much, but you can put information into this, and Canva will make these tools for you. So it's a time saver. And I know a lot of the tools have, Wayground, which formerly was Quizzes, Quizlet. All of these different tools, Kahoot, have AI components. But now Canva has it, and you can design games. You can either run them through Canva, take them out separate, drop them into your LMS, and run with it. You can let the kids show the kids how to do this, and they can make their own review games. What I'm finding is some of my students who are go-getters, they are, the ones who really they'll do a lot on their own. And I push reviews out, and I have reviews that are constantly running in the background. And then I have some as assignments. They're making their own, and they'll be sitting there, and I'll walk past. They have time at the end of the class to work on whatever, either stuff for my class or for other classes if we finish early. And there'll be kids sitting there. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, oh, I have my notes. I'm turning them into separate flashcards. So they're personalized for how they learn. And I've been showing them the different tools, here, try this, try that tool, to let them give them experience, because we're not the only ones that need to save time. Show the kids how to do this stuff, and they'll run with it. And then they can come back and show us, which helps us in the long run. So I came across this. I want to experiment with it more, but it is a cool tool to think about. And that is Canva code.
Oh, well, Jamie's giving you props as well. She loves it. I live and breathe Canva. I use it almost every day for different things. I've not really dived into the code aspect of it, so that's really cool. That's good to see. Good to got. And taught the kids to use their AI to create an interactive review for a test. Nice. Yeah, and I know some people are some magic schools, some different other options that are there as well. So there's a lot, but that's really cool. Now I know I've used Google AI Studio in the back end to create a game, and then I'm able to embed it into a Google site. So I do several little dorky math games that it makes real quick just for fact practice and different things with fractions that we've done. It's been a while since I made one, but that's a cool feature. So that's really cool.
Not to alienate any of the purveyors of the dark arts, but when you say math, you don't have to add dorky. You can just say math games.
Well, the game, yeah. Math isn't, but the games are that's how I roll. Listen, I love showing dorky videos, man. I hit them with 2 today.
Oh,
they were groaning, buddy. They were groaning. It was good stuff.
I've been using Suno.
Oh yeah.
A lot because we're going over the Cold War. So I hit him good with a 80s new wave, Bikini Atoll / Duck and Cover, and it had this real hip, upbeat 80s light, like you're walking down the street. You have a beautiful sunny day, and then it talks about the duck and cover and what happens when the desk doesn't protect you. And the kids were like, "Ooh, that went dark real quick." I'm like, "Yeah." So you can tell which kids were listening to the lyrics.
Yeah. That's funny. Well, Suno's gotten a little weird because I have back when Honeycutt, when he was doing his deal over the summer, maybe it was last summer, I got like 7,000. I forget where it is, but somewhere in between there, credits to be able to use. But now, because I used to be able to get a full song, the whole deal, and I've done a couple, and I don't know whether I need to adjust which I guess the LM that it's utilizing. Maybe I can't be that high. It has to be a lower one because I haven't been getting full songs.
Yeah. If you go,
run into that
I think they're 4 symbol of excellence, 4 horsemen. The WCW wrestling days. That's I told the kids it's Pennsylvania Department of Education code. If you do 4, you got to give the Ric Flair woo. So I have the kids doing it as best. Some do, some don't. But Suno 4, the lower, like if you go 1 level down, you get full song. Then you only get a partial at their top tier, and as they improve, everything shifts down. The top tier is phenomenal. We did one. It was a miserable rainy day, so I did something about I borrowed from Brooke Benton had a rainy night in Georgia. I took that idea and did like a rainy morning in New Brighton, and it with a 60s soul, and it was 30 seconds of heaven. Taking the soulful sound of that 60s. Not quite Motown, not quite Philadelphia soul, blended it together, had some good lyrics, and after 30 seconds, it cut off, and I was just like, I said, I was tempted to break out the $8.99 and upgrade for the 1 month to get the full song.
Hey, they try to get you.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
I'm trying
I'll have to break out my Suno playlist on one episode. I did that last year. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was just saying I'm trying to log in, and I can't remember whether I use my school account or my PAECT account, but both of them are asking me when my birthday is. So I'm like, maybe I don't have an account with that. So
no, you do. They redid that. I had to redo that too, and I use it. I did it last year as a lesson for the kids. I posted my playlist in the Schoology, and the kids went down through and because it gives you 2 songs for each time you put in a prompt, you get 2 songs, and sometimes you get 4. Woo! With the 4 because you get the high end and the low end. So I went through and I said, okay, we're making a playlist. Here's the songs I have. Rate it, and tell me which song from each prompt and why. And they went through and they enjoyed it. It was good just to we did some metal, some rap, some pop. Different genres. Did the 40s. I tried to have it do, to fit the era we're teaching. 40s big band, 40s swing, 50s doo-wop, early rock and roll.
Yeah. So I lied. I have 5,050 credits is what I have on there right now. Yeah. But I think there was it was like, I don't even know how many credits that we got at the time he did that thing over the summer, but I'll have to mess with that later, so I can get lost in that. If you notice, I was really quiet. My head was down because I was having to scroll really far for year of birth. So anyway, we'll move on.
Yeah, I went back almost to Roman numerals.
I was like, I wonder how far this thing goes. No, it's too depressing. We're not going there. All right, well, let's see. I'll hit you with a little a little separate tech note of my own. I call this one money. All right, almost there. Here we go. So what I love about the different AI thing is you don't have to obviously you're a person that a good bit. You're working a lot with the AI. I'm never the one that feels like I know everything, right? There's always something to learn. There's always different things going on. And so my teacher partner comes over and says, "Hey, have you seen this?" Like she showed me this slide that she had. I'm like, "That looks pretty sharp." And she goes, "Yeah, I got this thing that said, do you want to beautify your slide?" And I'm like, "Beautify your slide? What are you talking about?" And then I tried doing it, and I'm like, I was trying to look and figure out where it was, and I couldn't figure out where it was. I'm like, what is she doing? So I quick call her over, and I'm like, "Listen, you got to show me. I'm not sure what you're doing here." And so what it was is in Google Slides. So she had it's like I always associate this image with the nano banana. So it's kind of set up there, right? So you got the banana there, and you can click help me visualize. So when you did that, this window opened here. All right, so let me get this so we can see this good. See this better. And you can ask it to do some different things. And so literally the prompt on her screen was, help me beautify my slides, right? But so here we have create a professional, engaging slide with rich visuals. So, and I will say that this is an example of a slide I used to use, and I did actually leave. So this is one I pulled in just a demo to mess with this just the other day, but I did leave and I do my slides a lot in Canva. So I was getting some better graphics, some better images kind of a thing, like what you're able to pull in. They just have a better resource. I kept this from last year, my football taco. I was very proud of last year making it. The kids were really annoyed at it, but I thought it was pretty fun. But that was one of the first AI images I made, and then the little orange peel because my math class is the orange section. But it has it set up here where you can click, all right, and then just ask it to generate a different image for you. Now it'll take a little bit, and we'll pull up what they have. But when I did this earlier, this is what it came up with, and I kind of have so this is for our rotations we do, right? This is we call it used to be called the Visit Teacher Station. It's V, so I call it the Verno Station. And there's different versions or different things that you can call them in your rotations. Then we had the me, what I'm working on independently, and then the collaboration station when I'm working with other students. So it took from this, and then the student list, and it took from this that it pulled in, the different weekly agenda of what's happening. I had the random AI taco, so it pulled that in. It made the student groups just like this, and then what the daily activities were. Gave the essential questions. So it definitely gave it that different look. Again, this is something that I've worked on pulling in, I'll Google search wallpapers, things of that nature. But now you want to make a different slide, just jazz it up a little bit. Boom, you can pull it in here. I don't think it did anything effective here on the side. Let me adjust this to see what the Gemini do. Preview. So yeah, it didn't on this deal with what I asked it to do, it didn't work. But again, the prompt was basically beautify my slide earlier. So when I was able to click that, it was able to pull in. So it's right here. So I selected slide, and I don't know, I messed my screen up by doing the pinch to zoom here. So sorry about that. All right. So let's see. I'll make my slide more appealing for students to use. Let's see. Again, you take that time to do. And again, but the nice thing is with Google, with the different features that you have, this is just pulling from Gemini. I do think that Google's Nano Banana is definitely leaps and bounds. I annoy my family all the time because they'll share a picture in group chat, and I'll be able to click on it, and it's called Remix in Google Photos, and I'm able to create different things or give it a little bit of animation. They get so annoyed at me. They question how much water I used creating it using AI. So, of course, as you know, your daughter is all about giving you snark as well, kind of the plight of the girl dad. So now here, this one definitely did a little bit better. So when we click on that, so it took the slide and just did, so it still has some similar features of what it pulled in. And you can say insert it as a new slide. And then within seconds, you have it done. Now, again, if I would go back and go to the original slide and ask it to do something different, or I could take out some pictures, leave it a little bit more blank, have it make it. But again, if you're having your content, your stuff is in there, you want to go ahead and like just jazz it up a little bit, just switch it up. The ability to write that, and again, the prompt wasn't amazing.
Yeah.
Right. Again, I got to a different one when I can choose the slide. I can have it just, hey, pull from this slide and give me an infographic, and boom, it'll give you an infographic. So you're able to pull some things in. I know one thing we're looking at is we pulled in some practice test scores that from DRC to be able to use for math. So I'm able to take those slides, have AI kind of like just jazz them up a little bit so they don't look as so plain Jane, and they kind of put out. So again, just a different feature that what was really cool is, again, it was a colleague coming to me, hey, did you know? And I'm like, actually, I've not really messed with that. That's kind of cool. So again, I don't think I'm ditching Canva, don't get me wrong, but for different slides that I have here, it really does give it a nice look that definitely rivals some things that you could do in Canva. And, I'd rather do you really want to be like a specified on one thing? Like we joke about the Microsoft versus Apple thing, but really having a breadth of knowledge is really important in all this stuff, because all of the tech companies really are leapfrogging. One day Copilot's the bee's knees. The next day, Gemini's got the jump. People are jumping to Claude now. There's Perplexity. There's a lot of different things out there. So, but again, what's easy to use in school, and that's something a lot of us with Google Classroom, a lot of our levels, we all have access to.
Yeah. Now this comment popped up. The only thing is you can't edit on the slide once you do it and you lose the link. So you might want to keep in the background, keep your non-fancy slide to get out to the links, but then have this in, like you were saying, as an infographic.
Right.
Kind of like to intro and then go into and here's the content. So kind of double up a little bit.
Yeah, it's a great point. So honestly, what I would probably do is the different text boxes, I probably would just leave those blank. Have it on another slide, right? Put the things in it I want. Like, what are we doing this week? What's the activity in class? Make a duplicate of that slide, delete the text out, have it create the images, and then put text boxes over top, right? Yeah, but that's a great point brought up. It's not perfect. There are some little things that you can't get in there, dig into and do. Because again, Google Slides isn't Google Slides isn't a graphical interface, right? It's a slide program. It's using the AI to pull that. So it's not going to have all the editing tools that a Photoshop or, other different things like that. The Adobe, what is it? I forget what it is, Firefly or whatever they have out now. Whatever those things may be, right?
Yep. There you go. That's basically what Danielle was saying.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. We're expecting a demo video, Danielle. Okay. Make that demo video, send it in
on the pod.
PAECT.org, or message us and we'll get you on here to kind of walk you through that demo. That'd be good. We would love to have a lot of people. If there's something that you're really into and you want to pull that in, we definitely would love to have you on to show that. Because again, for educators, by educators, right? We want to have more educators involved.
Jamie's jumping in. We'll bring her on too.
Well, let's just see if she has her voice this week. I don't know. We want to get her on. We definitely want to have her on. But yeah, to talk about PAECT and then also the different definitely knowledge that she has. But we can only handle so many excuses for mom that another grandparent passed away.
If her voice goes, she can mime.
I said there's ways to come on and do it. We can make it happen. She could have gave us smoke signals. We could have transcribed for her. All right, now she's going to be like, okay, now guard the comments, Tom. Okay, we'll see where we're
going
to flag us. All right, all in good fun. But yeah, definitely would love to have multiple voices on, so really good. All right, Dom, what else? You said you had more than one. You're an overachiever tonight.
Yes.
So what do we got? We got, is it news or notes? Where are we at?
It's kind of news/notes. It's an AI centered.
Okay, hold on.
So,
hold on. All right, wait. Here we go. Let's transition. All right, brother.
So, Carl Hooker, who was a keynote, not this past Pete, but the year before Pete, he has a blog that goes out and newsletter. And I like this. I agree with this aspect of it. It's a double-edged sword of AI efficiency. Great post. Hooked on innovation.com is his blog slash newsletter. AI is good. It does save us time. It does help us out. But then he says, be careful with, and he uses the term AI crack and apologizes for the harsh term, but don't give up your creativity. Put your thoughts into it. Don't rely solely on AI. We tell the kids, use your own thoughts, use your own information. Put the information in and then put your initial thoughts in, then ask AI to improve upon them, have it as a discussion. Don't rely solely on this. And Eric Kurtz brought that up with the study about the headlines, AI is rotting people's brains. And they didn't go deep into the survey. It was clickbait. People that use AI, they're stunting their brain usage and whatnot. But that's not the whole story. The people that think for themselves and then incorporate AI and build upon those thoughts, they're the ones that are jumping leaps and bounds in productivity, creativity, efficiency. And that's kind of what, I got from this article was from Carl Hooker. Gets into the 10 fastest growing skills, and creative thinking is up there. Flexibility and agility, curiosity and lifelong learning. You need these. So if you take your skills, give AI your ideas, and then build upon that versus just going in and typing in your prompt, I need blah, 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 and asking AI to do it for you. Put your ideas and thoughts into AI, ask for improvement, carry on that conversation. It's not a one and done, as most of us know, but people still fall into that trap. Keep yourself into the lessons. Like you were saying, have AI bump up your lesson. Here's what I have, make it better, improve upon it. And that's kind of what I took from this was, don't do like what we holler at the kids for doing is, here's my homework question. Please tell me the answer. Here's what I want to teach. Please give me the lesson, but put your spin into things and then ask AI to improve upon it. Making it a creativity amplifier is what he called it. And I like that message.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important that, that we keep that message in our minds, because it's easy. Like, things change, like you were saying, all of a sudden you have a 2-hour delay, you're planning, you have block scheduling. We're 40-minute periods, but something comes up, you have a fid day. Oh crud, I need something. Or something comes up that something goes wrong at school, type into AI and fix it, but you still have to keep yourself in it, keep your personality in things, and keep your brain sharp.
Amy's putting there, it was a game changer today. It allowed me to pivot an entire unit in a day based on student feedback. AI was able to work with me to change all the wording for the new challenge. Yeah. I mean, you're driving the engine. And I think way back when we first had that conversation with is it Chris Andrews, the former superintendent of Hempfield School District, and he was working with our team, our leadership team.
Yeah.
And when he made the reference of AI as a thought partner, I have never let that go. And I truly, I utilize it in that fashion. I may type up, here are the thoughts I want to put in an email, kick it over into ChatGPT, whatever the case may be, Copilot. Then I'll kind of get it, what it says, screen through it. I want to make sure it sounds like me. So don't use too many complicated, multi-syllable words, right? Let's keep it Verno style, right? Okay, nice and easy. And then pull it in. It may take it a different way where I don't like it. I still got to adjust it. Like, you can't just blindly use it and jump on it. So same as in the classroom, like you kind of put out there and what that article said. I like that.
Yeah, and like I'll do the same. I'll come up with questions and I'll throw it into AI. Like, I need higher depth of knowledge questions. Take what I am asking, make it adjust it to the higher depth, and I'll get things back. I could sit there and go through and comb through things and try and word it. I know what I want to ask. Make this make sense so it's not as wordy, and push that way. I do the same with my presentations. I've taken old presentations, use Prezi or CuraPod, and like, here's the information I have. Make it a nice presentation. And I showed the kids, and I've been open with them. Like, okay, here's the information. I know it's good. And I used Claude this past week. I went through, we're going over Operation Ajax before the world events that broke out this past weekend. We were talking about 1953 events in Iran, doing the Cold War, early Cold War activities. And I took my notes on that, put it into, I'm done with, like, we've done ed puzzles, we've done notes, we've done research. I want a reading. We have keystones coming up. Get them reading, get them answering questions and writing. Here's my notes on Operation Ajax. I need 3-page. I could type it up, but put it in a nice for different levels of reading. And here's the questions I want to ask. Adjust them for different levels, depths of knowledge. And it pushed everything out. And I went through and I edited it, made sure the details were okay. Because you can't just rely, it does hallucinate. It does make mistakes. So having the information.
I think it's gotten a lot better, but you're right. You still got to watch for that. Yeah.
You know, it does. And it's even like whenever we type stuff up, I make typos all the time. I know what I'm supposed to be typing. We make mistakes. But, you know, I've done the research already. So I know the research is accurate because it's already been fact checked previously. But make this at a nice readability. Make it flow. So it's not just short little sentences.
So here's your three thoughts. So Amy pushed out there. I say to the students that AI works with you, not for you. That's important. I like Missy. So at the Toddle event, Richard Collado was there. So he shared the Corvette versus the dump truck model for deciding when you use AI yesterday or when you use AI. So that's interesting. I definitely would love to dive more into that one. And then Jamie threw out there, I always push back when my kids tell me they're using AI to check their work, asking them, do you know the content enough to know if the AI is wrong? And that's big. Like, you know, kind of goes back to when we were like, what is it? Like your with citations, your first, why am I blanking on what it is? But like when you're having kids go through and making sure that, hey, is this site, you know, reputable? Is it pulling information? You know, you're sourcing and all that jazz. And you know, kind of goes into that digital literacy lesson framework. So it's big. Yeah, a lot of good stuff there. Yeah.
And I always tell the kids, I said, you know, when AI goes out and gets information off the internet, it's not just getting information off the honors kids. It's getting information off the kid in the back of the room that just filled in blanks, hoping the teacher's not going to check their work. You don't quite know how accurate it's going to be because it's going out and just grabbing information and processing it. So you're going to get some things that slide in. And depending on what tool you're using, depends on how well it's going to process that information and fact check it on its own.
Yeah.
Where's it grabbing the information from?
Right. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Well, we'll hit you with one more. Got us a little tech note action here. So here we go. And you brought him up, my bearded brother from another mother. I'm going to miss seeing him this summer at ISTE, but Eric Kurtz and his Control Alt Achieve website. But he has an upcoming webinar. And I wasn't going to share it at first. I was like, I don't want it to compete with ours. Like, you know, I don't want him to choose one beard over the other. But this one's at 3 p.m. Eastern. But it is a free webinar, Notebook LM, your grounded AI super tool. And he does such an amazing job. So March 17th. So it's free. To sign up for it. You sign up for it, it's going to be live streamed, and then it's also recorded for those who can't attend live. But I strongly recommend, again, even Carl Hooker referenced him. Eric is just such a stand-up guy. And we will eventually have to get him on the pod. But the dude is just, you know, crazy busy in everything he does. But yeah, so you want to talk about somebody who just top-notch, you know, and even references in there, like you want to make sure that you're creating engaging resources that are grounded and vetted in your content. So he's definitely one that, you know, I trust in. If you I have too many email newsletters that I get, but he's got to subscribe there. But it's I once a week I go to his website, just scan through what he has. I mean, I still use an old school feed reader, so I do have it pulling in there that I'll be able to check it at different times. But Eric Kurtz, definitely a very good source for almost all things Google. Yeah. So if you have, definitely sign up for that. So I definitely will be signing up. May not make it live, but we'll definitely be watching the video.
Yeah, and that's like, I use a couple different readers to pull in information. I get way too many emails with different things, but and I'll take time when when I have some downtime to go through and read things. But Carl Hooker, Buff Nuggets from Brian Buffington, Eric Kurtz, good information. And
yeah, we might have to. That might be a topic. Email newsletters worth, other than Education Technology Today.
yes,
Make sure to read that one.
I read that one.
But yeah, maybe we'll have to go through and pull our membership of different newsletters that they can't live without. That would be an interesting one. So we definitely have to work on that. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Was that B-Pal that posted there? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good. I like it. All right, man. So yeah, so we got some different things with some tech news and tech notes there. Yeah, the world of tech, it's interesting. Yeah, we got new hardware out there. I think there was a new version of the iPhone out. The Galaxy came out with stuff, and they're pushing their AI and Bixby and stuff are moving. So there's a lot of things going on that are pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, very good. All right. Well, I think it's time to kind of check on what's going on around this place called PAECT. What do you think?
Sounds good.
All right, let's do some PAECT updates as soon as I find it. All right, as always, let's check out the PAECT calendar, right? We got our board meeting up at State College, and then gamified test prep with Melissa Krenzer. So I definitely am looking forward to this. I'm looking so much forward. I haven't registered yet, but I will work on that. But Northwest PAECT to level up your classroom gamifications as we prep for spring testing season. The reason why all educators got into education, because we want to give state tests, right? Said nobody ever. All right, so let's gamify test prep though. So if you are looking for some ways to kind of crank up, she definitely does some amazing stuff in her classroom. Definitely see posts all the time. So gamified test prep Tuesday, March 10th, 7 p.m. virtual event on Zoom and act 48 hours.
Yep.
All right, and then the shift to student led. I know you're always big into the book studies. Have you been watching this one?
I have not had a chance to jump into this one with things going on. It has been a little too chaotic, but that's one that I wanted to jump in and kind of lurk on.
Yeah, so PA student-centered learning community of practice event. So reimagining classroom workflows with UDL and blended learning. So the PASCL organization's running that one, but we are co-sponsoring that. So yeah, definitely one to check out. So yeah, the shift is written by Caitlin Tucker and Katie Novak. So definitely one to check out. Good stuff. Oh, and then unfortunately, it is a tough time. I just want to highlight this, right? Our South Central group really rocketed, and it's unfortunate because it's been a couple years. Ed camps are making a comeback, but yeah, just getting people out and about. Yeah, it's so tough. Like you just said, it's a crazy time of year doing things. Gosh, I remember, many, many moons ago, many grades ago, as a regional director, I was supporting definitely 6, not 7, 6 ed camps throughout the year, all across the South Central PA territory, and now it's just whittled down, and their numbers were just too low. They didn't feel confident in going forward, so unfortunately that one's put on the back burner. Hoping to bring it back again, but man, I don't know. I just think pulling together a community, doing some different stuff. There's something, there's I don't know. There's just a hump we got to get over and work on it. So unfortunately, but it was a decision that had to be made. Yeah.
And then this time of year, you run into another problem with that. Cause I know when we used to do Ed Camp PGH, we had over 150, 200 people signed up for an Ed Camp, but it happened to be the first Saturday where temperatures were hitting 60 degrees and it wasn't raining. And, we just came off a couple weeks of rain, kind of like we're going through this week. And the following week was either a temperature drop or more rain. And people didn't show up because it's like, this is the one day out of 3 weeks that it's going to be nice. Do you go to ed camp or do you go outside and enjoy? And these things happen, unfortunately, but it is something you run into.
Yeah. And then our Glide show, just one thing to add, they have March 21st, Robobots Student Showcase in Meadville Area High School in the Northwest. So that was one that's not on the calendar, but it's on the Glide show. So just want to make sure we talked about that one.
And I'm going to show something here real quick. If
buddy.
Two things. So one, Fred Camp, it is sold out Saturday, March 21st at the Fred Rogers Institute at St. Vincent College. We do not sponsor it, but the Fred Camp people, Remake Learning, When You Wander, You're Learning, they are great to PAECT. I've been to several Fred camps. I'm not going to this one because my schedule was booked, but the Fred Rogers Institute at St. Vincent College is a phenomenal space. It's limited in size, but their Fred camp is more from 9 to 12:30. And if you ever get a chance to go to Fred camp, go. In fact, speaking of the Fred Rogers Institute, that is where our higher ed symposium is going to be this upcoming November. PACT's higher ed symposium will be there. Great space. Check it out. We have that going on. And then a little bit ahead, April 18th, that is the SRU Ed Camp SRU, back to the 80s. So that is going on. And that's on the calendar, but that's an April event. But figure get that out there before too late. Think about that. That's going to be 9 to 2:30 at Slippery Rock University.
Hey, do me a favor if you would. Go ahead and go back, hit the back button there and in the calendar and click on TERS, because I think we'd be remiss because right now,
yes,
TERS conference. Oh, sorry, too far back. Anyway, but yeah, so if you pull it up though, but TERS is our Tech Education Research Symposium. So this is 2026. It's happening April 18th.
18th.
And that is on the hallowed grounds of Bloomsburg University.
Excuse me. It's
Bloomsburg in the background, and my football jersey hanging up above. What were you gonna say?
But what's the name of the university now? Because people look for Bloomsburg.
It's Bloomsburg University, buddy. Don't even go there. No. So yeah, so Commonwealth University, it is joined up with the other two with Lockheed.
Commonwealth University, Bloomsburg. Bloomsburg is still in the name.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know how. I think it's just Commonwealth University, but I don't know how that works. Pennsylvania.
I know, like Penn West, they have Penn West Edinburgh, Penn West Clarion, Penn West Cal. So Cal lost its Harvard on the moniker.
All I know is all the Commonwealth gear in the bookstore is way in the back. Yeah, we don't go there anyway. Yeah. But yeah, so it's on the grounds, and listen, there's a lot of good presentations. Non-premium members $50, premium members $40 to attend. But if you put into share, if you're looking for an opportunity to have a conversation with some amazing, you got college professors, some teachers from the area. So again, you got the Slippery Rock Ed Camp is going to be in the West End of the state. This is going to be on your northeast side of the state. Well, I guess north central. And but it's a great conference that if you want to be able to do a presentation in front of not a lot of people, they kind of keep the numbers as far as the different rooms. They keep the numbers small, the way they set it up. And it's just an awesome way for you to kind of, just tiptoe into that. And it's really cool. So starts at, what's the time frame? Starts at 8 a.m. They got breakfast. I'm going to be honest. Lynn Hummel, who's in charge of this, always knows where to get the best donuts. So if you like a good donut, you want to go to breakfast, all right? TERS Symposium is where it's at. So yeah, so it kicks off at 8 a.m. And then it'll run all the way through 3:30 p.m. And then, then the rest of the day is yours to kind of kick around and do whatever. So I look forward to it every year. So I'll be there. We'll get Dom to travel to the north central area sometime soon to be able to come visit. But yeah, so April 14th. But the big thing is right now, if you've check your PACT emails that have come in, check the Education Technology Today. There is a link for you to be able to submit proposals. So
yeah,
I'm not sure how many he's got going in, but it is a great higher ed conference. Yeah. But again, you could be talking about what you're doing in your classroom, because some of our professors need to hear what educators are doing, and they can turn it into what they're utilizing. So it's a great conference.
Yeah. And I wanted to go to TERS. It's little over 4-hour drive, and I'd already committed to Ed Camp SRU. So can't make it this year. And then, Jamie comes through with you can still find a Harvard on the Mon shirt in the right places. That is my first master's from Harvard on the Mon.
There it is. All right. Good stuff. All right. Yeah. Hey, listen. In the back end, I'm working. We're trying to get Jamie all locked in to come on to the show. We got to get her on.
Yeah.
So that'll happen soon. All right. So we got some good stuff with PAECT. We got some things rocking. Again, springing forward. So make sure you got your clocks ready. And how many clocks in your house do you have to set, Dom?
3? No, 4.
3. A microwave, stove, coffee pot.
Microwave, stove, coffee pot, and then I have a wind up. Well, a funny story. Have a little battery operated alarm clock, and battery died in it, so I let it go. I'm like, you know what? I got to fix this because our power's been wonky last couple of weeks with the weather and everything. So I put a battery in it, and I have a Amazon device that uses an alarm clock. Well, the battery operated one, the alarm went off sooner than my other alarm. So I'm laying there and I start talking to my Amazon device, asking it to go into snooze, and nothing's happening. And I'm starting to get angry. Then I realize, oh wait, I put a battery in the other alarm. I actually have to reach over and turn it off. I was like,
you got to do work now. That's funny.
I had to do work. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't. There is a digital clock in the bedroom, but it literally has a switch for daylight savings on or off. So it's not really setting the clock. But I will say the one thing that I have to do, I have to go to all of the cars because my family can't figure out how to change their clocks in their car, and I'm always the one to when I finally get it is when it finally gets set. Otherwise, they live life either an hour having to rewind an hour or fast forward an hour until I get it into their vehicle.
Yeah, my truck doesn't. It used to upload and adjust the time. Now it doesn't. Have to do it manually.
I tell you, got to slave over that.
I know.
I tell you how pampered we are, but that's funny.
I know. Well, the worst is, when you wake up and you're like, wait a second, did the clock reset automatically or not? And then you're trying to find, which time is the right time.
You're like, okay, gee, what time is it really? Or help me, Madam A. So I'm trying to say buzzwords to kick anybody's phones off. Hey, S, will you look up? Yeah, because you every so often they might hang up. You never know. We'd all be in trouble. All right, brother. Well, listen, tips to spring forward. A lot of great stuff happening in our classrooms in and around your area. If you didn't get a chance to, go back and check out last week's episode all about the Toddle app. We had Chris on sharing about it, one of our big sponsors for PAECT. We do have an upcoming sponsorship spotlight. I believe we're going to be working with IPEVO and having Alex and maybe a team member on to talk about what they're doing. We love it, live it, use it every day. We use IPEVO, especially in our board meetings for their stuff. So looking forward to having that on. And and if you're a sponsor, happen to catch this or listen, we're always interested, especially if it's an education technology tool. But always a lot of great stuff. So, well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So as always, Dom, remember
PAECT, we are
the voice of EdTech in Pennsylvania
and
beyond. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your week and have an amazing start to your March.
See you guys. Take care.
All right.
PAECT and the PAECT Pod would like to thank all of our sponsors. Our Tier 3 sponsors, EduSpire, Tech the Next Step. Our Tier 2 sponsors, ClassLink, more time learning, less time logging in. Teachers First. SAM Labs, engaging and effective K-8 STEM and STEAM educational solutions. Lego Education. Toddle, teacher built, AI first, more than an LMS. Once again, PAECT and the PAECT Pod would like to thank all of our sponsors for the support that allow us to do what we do. Thank you.